The king again showed his horoscope to him. The astrologer again studied it, calculated his results, and then he proclaimed his result. That is, I think it is. The horoscope was same. The king was same. The horoscope was same, and the calculations. The next astrologer that he studied was, you have a very long life, even the longest among your relatives and family. And the astrologer was rewarded and was given a lot of affluent gifts and other things. First astrologer told that, king, all your family members will die before you. Another astrologer said, you have the longest lifespan in your whole family. Is there any difference in the calculations? But the results are quite different. One was sentenced to jail and another was given rewards. What was the difference? What made the difference? As one astrologer was awarded and another was punished. Anyone? Let the session be interactive. I will not let you keep mum. Anyone? What? Yeah, please.
The other astrologer presented his views. The language that he used was different from the one.
Yes. While the meaning is same. अगर किसी की लाइफ उसके फैमिली मेंबर्स में सबसे ज्यादा होगी, then it is quite usual. This is what communication makes the difference. You can present a same particular piece of news or particular piece of information in different ways, and it should be as effective as the occasion requires. Had the first astrologer been quite effective in communication, he could have taken all these rewards, but he was sentenced to jail. So here, communication is not simply speaking, or it is not simply a delivery of words. It's a comprehensive skill, as you have already studied. Okay? Today in our session, we will discuss few points. We have another session after 1 hour. So communication is the process of sending and receiving messages from one party to another. It is sending and receiving. Again, I think most of you have studied science at your schools. So if we are using the word process here, it simply says that it is not one step. It is not an action. Whenever we are talking anything about process, it means it involves multiple steps. So communication is not a simple action. It is a process. It involves a lot of steps. As we are making, suppose that if we are saying that describe the process of making tea, so then you will say, then first I will go to kitchen and I will ignite the oven, then I will put a pan over here, add water. So all these steps are involved in that particular process. Similarly, communication is also a process, as it involves a lot of steps in it. And it is as old as our civilization. Language came much after. आजकल जो हम संवाद का सबसे ज्यादा तरीका अपनाते हैं या हम लोग अपनाते हैं वो भाषा है, ठीक है, नो डाउट. बट कम्युनिकेशन इज एज ओल्ड एज अवर existence. Language is as old as our civilization. We started talking about civilization when we developed language, we developed literature, a lot of things. But communication is instinctuous. It came as we came on this earth. जैसे ही हमारा धरती पे एग्जिस्टेंस आया, तब से ही हम कम्युनिकेशन कर रहे हैं. And communication is not something that always involves language or words. No way. It may be without words. It may be simply pointing someone. It may be simply having some kind of facial expressions. So communication, it is as instinctuous as our existence is. Earlier, when we were at a barbarian stage, or when we were there before our civilization, we used to give smoke signals. When we were early civilization, we started giving smoke signals for conveying a particular message from one place to another place or between two distant places. Then there were all these pigeons for sending a letter from one place to another place. And then later on, language becomes so much developed that it enabled us to express our complex ideas, even more complex ideas to anyone. Okay? The problem is this, that with body language or with expressions, we cannot communicate complex things. Suppose that if I have to give a lecture on communication, then it is not possible that I will give it only through facial expressions or only through body language. So convey these complicated or complex ideas, we need language, no doubt. And language is definitely an essential part of our communication. But it is not sole. It is not a sole part of our communication. Even then, we can communicate without language. But all other factors or components are there, like language, body language, which involves our facial expressions and no problem.
आपकी पोडियम की आदत है
No.
पोडियम में जाए तो कैमरा पीछे नहीं कर पा रहा
Okay. So I need to stay over here, है ना?
नहीं अब आप पोडियम यूज कर सकते हैं, आप कैमरे में आ रहे हो.
Okay, thank you. So with all this discussion, at least we can summarize this particular definition of communication is, it is a process through which two or more people exchange information, ideas, thoughts, emotions in such a way that each gain a common understanding of the intended message. Remember, whenever we are talking about speaking, we are never concerned about the result or outcome of the dialogue. But whenever we are talking about communication, we are always anxious and worried about the result. Means we want to say whatever we are communicating, it should be exactly conveyed. It should be exactly conveyed. So every communicator, if you are desiring for communication, or a person who is a communicator, he will always focus at the comprehension of the ideas. The delivery is not important. Delivery is not the final outcome. Understanding or comprehension of the message is important. So a communicator always aims at that whatever I am communicating, whatever I am speaking, whatever I am expressing should be exactly conveyed. It should be exactly conveyed. That is the ultimate aim of a communicator, or ultimate aim of the process of communication. Communication is different from oration. All of you are students of literature, so I think all of you have heard about Aristotle. When Aristotle was asked what are the qualities of a good orator, he said delivery, delivery, and delivery. Means how you speak, how embellished your language is, how fluent your language is. That is the purpose of oratory. Orator मतलब हिंदी में हम यूज करते हैं वक्ता. हम बोलते हैं ना फला फला आदमी अच्छा वक्ता है. Whenever he starts to speak, we love to listen to him. But communication is quite different from oration. Oratory is self-centered. So had Aristotle been here, or someone would have asked Aristotle about what are the qualities of a good communicator, he could have answered understanding, understanding, and understanding. The message should be exactly understood. That is the purpose of communication. Getting it clear or not? So communicator अच्छे वक्ता होते हैं, लेकिन जो परवी होता है, जो पर्पस होता है ओरेटरी का, आपने देखा होगा कई लोग बोलते हैं, स्टेज स्पीकर्स होते हैं, they are not concerned about everyone sitting at the corner of the room. They are concerned हमारी लैंग्वेज अच्छी हो, हमारा एक्सेंट अच्छा हो, हमारी डिलीवरी अच्छी हो, हमारे एक्सप्रेशन अच्छे हों, आपको एक कोने में जो बैठे हैं दो लोग, उनको समझ में आए ना आए, आई एम नॉट मच कंसर्न्ड ओवर. बट if you are doing communication or if you consider yourself a communicator, then you should be worried about that your message is exactly comprehended and understood by everyone or the desired receiver that you are aiming at. And communication is not only one to one or face to face, it may be one to many, many to one. And sometimes it is also there if you are listening to the English news or Hindi news, or you are watching TV. What kind of communication is there? Some people say normally these kind of questions are asked in interviews, basically in for students of management. They ask, first question is about communication and second question is asked, if communication is a round process, then how? What about news? If someone is listening to the news, how the feedback is going to the particular person? So it is passive communication. Whenever we are involved in face to face, one to many or many to one, that is active communication. So communication is there. But the purpose of communication is so quietly different from oration. We are not concerned about ourselves, we are concerned about you. So that it should be, suppose that, take an example. All of you are student of English literature, so all of you think that I should be very good at English. I should be fluently speaking. You in the morning you go to vegetable mandi for purchasing some kind of vegetables for your home. Okay, go there. Give me 1 kilograms of tomatoes. Give me half kilo okra. You will get nothing. You will not get anything because you are good in oration, but your communication is not there, because a communicator aims at the receiver. You should understand the condition, situation, and the circumstances that exist when you are communicating. आपको पता है that person doesn't know English, then why are you speaking in English with him? Take another example. If the person who is before you, he is deaf and dumb, or he are having hearing capabilities, then you cannot speak. You will speak, nothing will go to him. So that is, you have to change the mode of your communication. So that is there. Think, whenever a political leader conducts a big procession or a big assembly at your place or at your city, does he care for there may be a visually impaired person in the rally? No, because he focuses at oration. He thinks that what I am going to say, that will be perfect, whether you understand or not. But here it is different. And communication is quite important basically for students. After completing your education, when you will go in the field of job seeking, then again it will work. If you are having good communication, you will definitely get an edge. You will definitely get, because nowadays things are quite comfortable and good. Whenever we were in our schools, this particular area, our MP and UP, that was quite infamous for the students having chronic underperformance in English. Whenever there was a result of 10th or 12th, most of the students fail either in English or in maths. Now things are quite good. So communication, it always aims that your target receiver, he should get the exact result what you want to convey. That is what communication skill is aimed at. See, that is only a theoretical expression. This is known as communication process. We studied in the starting that it is a process because it involves a lot of steps. This is sender, this is receiver. Take an example. You are speaking, here I am speaking, I am sender, you are receiver. And it happens, we have to message. Even the slightest outburst of our emotions or our language, that comes after a lot of thought process. ठीक है ना? मैं आपसे बोलता हूँ, please bring me a glass of water. But if I know there is some person who is not literate or who is not good, मैं अपने आप बोलूंगा एक गिलास पानी ला दीजिए मुझे. It suddenly becomes, because we are in a habit of communicating in different situations. So this whole process is known as communication. And sender encodes a message through a proper medium and then sends it to the receiver. Receiver gets the idea, receives, understands, and gives the proper feedback. Feedback is quite important. Feedback is quite important because it marks the completion of communication. Whether communication may be successful or unsuccessful, but feedback is quite important because it marks that communication is complete. Suppose that if I ask anyone, please stand up, and the person stands up, communication is complete. Because I have given a particular command to him and he has followed, because it means that he has understood, he has get the idea and he has responded in that particular manner. So this is there. Again, sender gives the feedback. So this is the whole cycle of communication. It happens. And always the noise is there. Noise is not sore actually. We will discuss later in a little detail. Always wherever communication is existing, noise is there. There are barriers, there are blocks, there are stumbles that tends to create hindrances in the process of communication. Getting the idea or not? समझ में आ रहा है? लैंग्वेज की कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है ना? Most of you can understand, I think, English, है ना? Comfortably. Again, there are forms of communication. Communication basically in the mode of through channels or through different modes and mediums. We can divide communication in two prominent categories: verbal and non-verbal. Verbal and non-verbal. Verbal means wherever we are using language, wherever we are using words, that is verbal communication. Wherever we are not using words, that is non-verbal communication. Some students used to ask whether if we are doing written communication, it is also verbal communication. Wherever you are seeking help of language or words, that is verbal communication. However, these all are theory, okay? But you will find it whenever you visit any interview. There is not one question that you will definitely face in every interview, that is what is communication. And you need to pitch it in the way you should. First question in every job interview is introduce yourself. This there also comes, we will again discuss in later part. There are three different types of questions: introduce yourself, tell me something about yourself, define yourself. Normally students answer the same. They have crammed 3 lines, I am this, I hail from this particular city and this. But they all are asking for 3 different answers. You cannot consider tea and coffee the same. So that's why you need to answer it differently. That is there. So verbal communication, we are using words, that is verbal. Wherever we are not using words, that is non-verbal. And if we are not using words, then what we are using? Science, language of science, language of symbols. All this is there. That is body language. And a much technical term for body language is kinesics. That word will may come across you. Kinesics. Kinetic energy होती है ना? Kinetic से बना word kinesics. ठीक है ना? You actually be in a habit of observing everything. Don't see things. Watch or observe things. So body language, it may contain different parts. That will be a separate topic that will be covered in this program. But whenever we are communicating either through our facial expressions or so this is quite important. Body language, as I have seen, it will be covered separately. But it is in our communication system. 45% message is carried through words and 55% of message is communicated through expressions. Take an example. If I am teaching geography, ठीक है ना, and I am telling something about earth, ठीक है ना, धरती के बारे में बता रहा हूं मैं, and I am saying our earth is very vast, our earth is very vast, हमारी धरती बहुत बड़ी है. Person sitting there will definitely have a conflict. Vast, अब जिसको वास्ट का मीनिंग पता नहीं होगा वो समझेगा वास्ट का मतलब होता है छोटा. या मैं बोलूं माई हाउस इज वेरी स्मॉल, सो द पर्सन हु इज नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग द वर्ड स्मॉल, ही विल थिंक दैट स्मॉल का मतलब होता है बहुत बड़ा. सो व्हाट डोमिनेट्स, वर्ड्स और एक्सप्रेशंस? एक्सप्रेशंस. Definitely it will be there. If there is a contradiction between your words and expressions, definitely people will more focus on your expressions. ठीक है ना? If I am coming here with a very sad face like this, with an indolent idea, आज मेरा तुम लोगों को पढ़ाने का बहुत मन कर रहा है यार, no one is going to believe it because your expressions are saying something different, है ना? So that is there. So your expression should meet. If you are good in language, very good. But your language should be supported with exact or supportive expressions. Whenever we are talking on a call, that is a different thing. But whenever we are talking on face-to-face conversation or anything, your expressions should be supported with your words. Otherwise, आपके words meaningless होते हैं. Your words will be meaningless. प्राइम इंपॉर्टेंस किसको दिया जाएगा? योर एक्सप्रेशंस को. ठीक है ना? एज यस्टरडे SoS सर वाज गिविंग एन एग्जांपल ना, कि अगर आपको किसी से माफी मांगना है और आप जाके उसको बोलते हो सॉरी, विल नॉट अपोलोजाइज, ही विल नॉट एक्सेप्ट योर अपोलॉजीज बिकॉज योर एक्सप्रेशन इज सेइंग समथिंग डिफरेंट. या किसी को धमकी देना है, हाथ जोड़ के धमकी दे रहे हो आप बिल्कुल गिरे हुए कंधों के साथ, देन नो वन इज गोइंग टू बी थ्रेटेंड, है ना? So that is there. Your words are important, no doubt, but they should be supported with equal and supportive expressions. If it is possible to support them, only then your communication will be effective. Getting the idea? आपको समझ में आ रहा है उधर पीछे? Getting the idea or not? Okay. Significance of communication. I think in the starting, our story has already discussed much about the significance of communication. It may be life-saving. I think if you are taking the snaps of the slide, I will share it in the group. I will share it to sir and he will share it in the group. Don't worry. If you need the photos of these slides, I will share it in the group. आप सब लोग group में जुड़े हो ना? So that will be there. Significance of communication, we know they are crucial, important. Why they are important? Because they carry these 4 functions in our life. If we have to share information, what will be there? That will be communication, emotional expressions, motivations, and control. These all 4 primary functions are done through communication. So that's why that is quite significant. Okay? So this is how communication occurs and how it relates to everyone. And what is the significance of communication? We have quite well understood. Now, if there is a good thing, there are few bad things also. If there is a good thing, there are always bad things, huh? Good and evil. So there are barriers to communication, as we already discussed na, whenever the process of communication takes place, then there will be noise. Noise का मतलब सिर्फ शोर नहीं है, हम डिस्कस करेंगे. So all these will be barriers to communication. Anything that will create to disturb our communication, that will be a barrier to communication. First thing is lack of commonness is a barrier. If we are not having few things in common, then definitely there will be a barrier. I am speaking in English, you don't know English, barrier will be there. I am speaking, you are not listening, barrier is there. We are okay, but there are two generators shouting it outside, barrier. So a barrier to communication is anything that prevents or restricts the conveyance of meaning. हम जो कहना चाह रहे हैं उसको आपको समझने से जो चीज रोक रही है या जो आपको समझने में बाधा उत्पन्न कर रही है, दैट इज बैरियर. ठीक है ना? There are different terms: barriers, obstacles, hindrances, and noise. Noise is basically a technical term for language specialist. जो linguists होते हैं, they use the term noise in different senses, are all used to describe the distracting stimuli, whatever is the cause. जो भी cause है उसको हम hindrances, obstacles या noise बोलते हैं. Why we are taking barriers in this session? We discussed with your sir. तो कम्युनिकेशन पे अभी आपको 5 डे का ट्रेनिंग लेना है. बैरियर्स हम स्टार्टिंग में इसलिए डिस्कस कर रहे हैं so that at least you are aware about these hindrances, so you may avoid them. So in this second session we are conducting this particular topic. So there are 3 levels at which communication takes place. हमने अभी डिस्कस किया कि 3 लेवल्स पे कम्युनिकेशन होता है प्रोसेस में: रिसीविंग, अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड एक्सेप्टेंस. Whenever you are receiving it, understanding or accepting, it is done with senses, it's at the level of intelligence, और ये होता है इमोशनल लेवल पे. जब भी कोई बात हम बोलते हैं आपसे, suppose that if I am giving you a lecture or a sentence on rocket science, I think most of you will not understand. ठीक है ना? So you will receive it, no doubt you will receive that particular sentence, but you will not be able to understand it because our intelligence is not of that particular nature. Acceptance, it is at the emotional level. ये emotional level पे होता है कि हम उसको बात, जैसे मैंने कहा will you please bring a glass of water for me, ठीक है ना? आपने सुन लिया, समझ लिया, नहीं लाना, ये एक्सेप्टेंस है. ये हमारे इमोशनल लेवल पे, हमें लाना है नहीं लाना, हमें आपकी बात मानना है कि नहीं मानना है, सुनना है कि नहीं सुनना है. तो ये 3 लेवल होते हैं बेसिकली कम्युनिकेशन पे, जहां पे कम्युनिकेशन ऑकर होता है. सो एट एनी ऑफ दीज लेवल्स, एनीथिंग दैट हाइंडर्स द प्रोसेस इज नोन एज अ बैरियर. इनमें से किसी भी लेवल पे जो ब्लॉक फेज आता है, दैट इज नोन एज अ बैरियर. Normally there are thousands of barriers. We can count, make a list of thousands. In just for the facility of study, we divide in different categories: semantic, socio-psychological, and physical. There is one more that I have intentionally removed. Organizational barriers are also there. I have intentionally, for your purpose or purpose of this session, I have removed this. Semantic barriers, socio-psychological barriers, or physical barriers. These are only types and terms. Don't get bothered with them. Semantic, ये word आपके सामने आया चुकी. क्या होता है semantics? Basically you can understand it with language, related to language or its meaning. बहुत सारा हमारा communication जो गड़बड़ होता है, that is distorted, that is because of our linguistic abilities or comprehension of that particular language. ठीक है ना? So semantic is a branch of study that studies the meanings and of all these words in a particular language. It occurs in all the languages, whether it is Hindi or English. It occurs everywhere. It exists everywhere. So semantic barriers are the barriers which are because of the meaning of the words or aspect of language. Now you have to focus a little more. Similar sounding words. Sometimes our communication is distorted because the words are sounding similar, and sometimes I am speaking a different word and you are understanding it to be different. These words are known as homophones. ये term याद रखना आप, because all of you are a student of English literature. Homophones. Homophones are the words which have common pronunciation, but they have different spelling and different meaning. They are known as homophones. ठीक है? Like example, altar, altar. Do you know the meaning of these two alter? So one is changing something completely, or another is a particular platform where devotional sacrifices are done. Altar, altar, buy, bu by, b by, and b by. So these, sometimes if the communication is disturbed because of these similar sounding words, then that is a kind of semantic barrier or homophonic barrier. ठीक है ना? आपको इतना समझना है बस कि there are words in English language which are called homophones, which have similar pronunciation but different spelling and meaning. Okay? So examples: rain and rain. Rain मतलब बारिश होता है, और rain मतलब राज्य साम्राज्य होता है. It is also control. So these are known as homophones. They are also barriers. Then there are different words. These words are having similar spelling, but they are different in pronunciation, different in meaning. So they are having different pronunciation. So at least in verbal communication, they will not disturb. जब हम बोल रहे होंगे तब वो डिस्टर्बेंस क्रिएट नहीं करते, क्योंकि उनका प्रोनाउंसिएशन सेम नहीं है. बट इन रिटन कम्युनिकेशन they are creating distortions because they have similar spellings. See, the bandage was wound around the wound. Actually लिखा ये है wound around the wound, but if you are reading it and not if you are exactly comfortable with it, it may sound similar to it. We must polish the Polish furniture. Spelling same है, pronunciation different है, but in written communication it may create problems. Like, he can lead us to the lead factory. Lead in lead, but in written communication the spellings are same. Okay, so these are known as homographs. Then there is one more, homonyms. They are more adamant barriers. They are having same spelling, same pronunciation, but different meaning. I can drink a can of Coke at any time. Same spelling, same pronunciation, but different meanings. Can is a modal, and here can is a noun. Can. Never desert a friend in the desert, or close the window before the bee gets too close. They are having similar spelling, similar pronunciation, only meaning is different. So these words are, so just to overcome these barriers, we should be good in vocabulary. Okay, na? You should focus at having a good treasure of vocabulary. Denotation and connotations, ठीक है ना? ये आपने हो सकता ना सुना हो, ठीक है ना? Denotation सुना है? Good. Denotation and connotations, basically sometimes words may have a different meaning, exact meaning, ऐसा समझ सकते हो आप. जो हम कह रहे हैं उससे टोटल डिफरेंट होता है. जैसे हमने कहा it exists in all the languages. जैसे मैंने कहा क्या बेवकूफ आदमी है यार, सपोज इट. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? एक क्वेश्चन नहीं है. दिस इज नॉट अ क्वेश्चन कि क्या बेवकूफ है. आई एम आस्किंग अबाउट हिज क्वालिटीज. ये है ही इज अ ग्रेट फूल, है ना? सो इट मे हैव, इन द सेम वे वर्ड्स मे हैव फीलिंग्स. सपोज दैट देयर इज अ वर्ड इन इंग्लिश, अफ्रेड. अफ्रेड क्या होता है? अफ्रेड का मतलब, बट इट इज ऑलवेज नॉट डरा हुआ. If I am talking to a student and I am saying that you are not working hard, I am afraid you will fail the exams. मैं यहां डरा हुआ नहीं हूं. I am worried in good sense, ठीक है ना? But afraid is a negative word. So a word may carry negative or positive meaning. Denote, every word is like a stone. It has a particular weight. हर वर्ड का एक पर्टिकुलर वेट होता है, ठीक है ना? हम बोलते हैं वो मुझसे गुस्सा हो गया. वी हैव वन वर्ड इन इंग्लिश, एंगर. लेकिन एंगर का मतलब है नाराज है हमसे, थोड़ा मनाएंगे तो मान जाएगा, सॉरी वॉरी बोल के. बट इफ समवन इज रेजियस ऑन मी or someone is furious at me. So degrees are there, ठीक है ना? तो every word is having a weight. हर word का weight है, जहां जरूरत होती है उतना ही word का weight हम use करते हैं. So these words may have, some of the example is there. cheap word जो होता है बड़ा नेगेटिव वर्ड होता है, मतलब बड़ा चीप बात करता है वो, बड़ा चीप क्वालिटी है. लेकिन अगर हम बोल रहे हैं एट दिस शॉप दे सेल चीप स्टफ, इसका मतलब इट इज पॉजिटिव, ये चीजों को हमें सस्ते दाम पे दे रहे हैं. Getting it? So the words have denotation and connotations. They may carry a particular emotion or feeling with them. Few more are there. These are also barriers. Dialects, बोलियां. Every language has a lot of dialects. Similarly, we have in Hindi, Bundelkhandi, Bagheli, Bhojpuri, Braj Bhasha. A lot of dialects are there, but language is Hindi. In the same way, English has a lot of dialects. So dialects may create disturbances in our communication because everyone is not aware about every dialect. हम जो इंग्लिश सीखते हैं, कल सरसो सर बता रहे थे, जैसे we are simply focusing on British English, ठीक है ना, UK English. So but there are hundreds of varieties of English that are spoken or written in the world. So we cannot be good or we cannot be comprehensible with all those versions. So dialects may be a problems. Use of jargons, slangs, acronyms, ठीक है ना, ये आप जानते होंगे jargons क्या होते हैं, slangs क्या होते हैं, acronyms क्या होते हैं. Jargons are technical words which are used in a particular field, ठीक है ना. Suppose that in logistics, जो लोग लॉजिस्टिक्स काम करते हैं, जिनके यहाँ ट्रक्स का सामान आता है, वो लोग बड़े शॉर्ट फॉर्म यूज करते हैं, उसकी डीपी बना दो. अब हमसे बोलो आप डीपी बना दो, बच्चा समझेगा डीपी का मतलब होगा हमारी व्हाट्सएप पर डिस्प्ले पिक्चर, है ना. और उसकी तो वी हैव पर्टिकुलर फील्ड्स, जैसे इन आवर इंस्टीट्यूट, टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूट्स में एक सब्जेक्ट चलता है थ्योरी ऑफ मैकेनिक्स, थ्योरी ऑफ मशीन, थ्योरी ऑफ मशीन्स, और एक चलता है स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ मटेरियल्स. बच्चे बोलते हैं उसको सोम और टॉम. टॉम इज थ्योरी ऑफ मशीन्स, ठीक है ना. बट if they are using in their particular field, everyone will understand. But in other sections, they will not understand what do you mean by Tom. If you are using Tom, I will understand that may be a cat or a dog. Getting it? So these jargons, slangs, acronyms, short forms, ठीक है ना, जो कॉमन शॉर्ट टर्म्स होते हैं, शॉर्ट फॉर्म्स होते हैं, वो तो पता है सबको, CID, CBI, ठीक है ना. लेकिन कई होते हैं हम लोगों के खुद के एक्रोनिम्स होते हैं, हमारे ग्रुप्स में, फ्रेंड सर्किल में, कॉलेजेस के शॉर्ट फॉर्म्स होते हैं, तो वो एक्रोनिम्स हर आदमी अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर पाता. सो दैट मे आल्सो बी अ बैरियर. ग्रामर एंड स्पेलिंग और एंड प्रोनाउंसिएशन, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. And 90% of barriers that come in your communication is through these three: grammar, spelling, and pronunciation. Because whatever is actually, जो हमारा मदर टंग होती है, उसका थोड़ा सा इफेक्ट पड़ता है हमारे एक्सेंट को. एक्सेंट बोलते हैं ना, एक्सेंट. अमेरिकन स्पीक इंग्लिश इन अ डिफरेंट वे, ब्रिटिश पीपल स्पीक इंग्लिश इन अ डिफरेंट वे, our we people speak in a different way. So that is there. So pronunciation makes, but at least आपको पता है हम बोलते हैं ना कि I am following British accent or I am following American accent. Accent आपका, if you are a good speaker, you shouldn't have any accent. Art for art's sake, है ना. If your accent disappears, you are a very good speaker. There should be no accent in your speaking. It should be clear that is there. So don't try to follow American accent or don't try to follow a particular accent. You need to speak it clearly, specifically, nothing more. Because at least if you will try for 10 years, then you will not be able to completely follow American accent or any other accent. All these young chaps are using yeah, yep. What is this? They are dialects, or they are dialects of their particular languages. and we are considering it, oh my god, it is a sign of modernity, so I don't have to say yes, I have to say yeah or yep or I, huh? So they are different things. I is used in army, so we have to follow one particular thing. There should be no accent, we have to speak it clearly. That's perfect, that's complete, that's sufficient. So grammar, spelling and pronunciation, that is also there. Pronunciation is very important, not to follow a particular accent but at least to pronunciate it clearly. ठीक है ना? Sometimes we speak like this. आपसे एक सवाल पूछता हूं. There is a famous animal in our forest, है ना? एक एनिमल होता है ना जिसको हनी बहुत पसंद होता है. Bear. Bear. It's bear, not beer. It's bear. ठीक है ना? We don't have any difference between beer. So pronunciation is, it is quite different. Are we running short of time? Time चले ना, हाँ. Then there it's socio-psychological barriers. Just इसको आप बस सुन लीजिए, ज्यादा आपको. Socio-psychological barriers होते हैं, ये भी हमारे कम्युनिकेशन को बहुत अफेक्ट करते हैं. They affect too much. Think example, ठीक है ना? There at your department, everything is quite fun. There is a training program going on. All of the students have come. Most of them are interested. एक बंदा जो आया है, उसको सुबह सुबह उसके पापा ने अच्छी पिटाई लगाई है, ठीक है ना? आते टाइम, और फिर उसको यहाँ बैठा दिया है. What will he understand? What will he get through this training program? Tell me. He will not get anything, at least for 1 or 2 hours, because he is psychologically disturbed. So communication also requires that there should be psychological or social balance. So that is there. So social, there are some barriers which are social barriers. There are some barriers which are known as psychological barriers that occur at our brain level or psychological level. So these barriers can be described as the cause of distorted communication because of social factors or human psychology problems. Either we are psychologically disturbed or we are having some kind of social difference. Or so that is socio-psychological barriers. Cross-cultural barriers. We have a different culture in India. We have a different culture in Sri Lanka. We have a different culture in America. So cross-cultural barriers are there. Language is also a barrier. If you don't know, think someone आपको कोई ले जाता है और सीधा जर्मनी के किसी गांव में छोड़ देता है. What will you do? The biggest barrier that you will face will be the language, because even they will not be knowing English. They will be speaking German, and you don't know even ABCD of German. So that will be the biggest barrier. So language is a big barrier, huh? Social relations. The way we react in our society, it is not exactly the same that people in European culture or Western countries they do. Getting the point? So that is also a barrier in communication. Gestures, that topic will be covered by separately. We have a separate session on body language, but gestures, they are also, they create different meanings. Getting it? Sometimes it may be raising a hand may have a different meaning in our setup, while it may have a different meaning in another setup. So they also act as a barrier when we communicate. ये भी हमारे communication में बड़ा barrier का काम करते हैं whenever we are interacting or communicated at cross cultural levels. हाँ, हम जिससे बात कर रहे हैं, who is the American, वो somebody is from Sri Lanka. So that will be, there will be a lot of problems. ठीक है ना? So gestures भी, gender and age, ठीक है ना? ये भी होती है communication में. कई बार होता है ना, we have a problem. Suppose that there is a training program that I have to attend. Okay, and I came to know that there is a person who is just 21 years old. He is going to give us training. The first reflection I will have, कल का लड़का मुझे पढ़ाएगा. Getting the point? So gender and age is also a barrier, because 99% of our communication is done if you are not closed. कल हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कि there is also a session on listening skills, ठीक है ना? Listening is the most important skill, and this is the beauty of our education system, that right from primary to the PG there is no work done on listening. Listening is not hearing. हम बोलते हैं ना कि बादल गरजता है तो हम बोलते हैं हैव यू हर्ड दिस, हम ये नहीं बोलते ना कि हैव यू लिसन्ड दिस, बिकॉज लिसनिंग इज ऑब्जर्विंग विथ क्वाइट फोकस एंड अटेंशन. सो लिसनिंग इज क्वाइट इंपॉर्टेंट, ठीक है ना? सो इफ वी आर नॉट क्लोज्ड, देन if we are closed due to gender bias or generation gap, then definitely there will be a much problem in our comprehension or understanding. Perception, this is also a psychological term, ठीक है ना? Whenever we make a perception, ठीक है ना, हम बोल लेते हैं मुझे मैथमेटिक्स नहीं आती, मुझे इंग्लिश समझ में नहीं आती, then definitely your doors are 90% closed by yourself. So perception is also a barrier that creates a lot of problems. That is tunnel vision. That all that I am telling you, because most of the students, they feel the blockage of communication or the barrier of communication 90% at psychological levels. क्या होता है? Even you are sitting here, but your brain is there. शाम को 3 बजे का मूवी शो है ना? Or somebody is waiting outside at the gate with a car or with a bike, so you are focusing on that. So most of the problems with youngsters or adult people that come at psychological level. So to understand, listening is quite important, very important. Listening is like opening your doors. If you are opening the doors of your brain, only then learning may happen, otherwise nothing will happen. Getting it? Ego defensiveness is also there. Status and power difference, that also creates communication. If I am speaking, I am a guest at your institute, so whatever I am saying, you are saying yes, very good. लेकिन अगर हो सकता है अगर आपके साथ का यहाँ पे होता कोई, तो आप उसको टांग खींच रहे, तो यू मस्ट बी लेग पुलिंग हिम. सो दैट इज देयर. स्टेटस ऑफ पावर डिफरेंस भी क्या करता है? इट मार्क्स और इट डिस्टॉर्ट्स अवर कम्युनिकेशन, ठीक है ना? इफ देयर इज अ नेगोशिएशन बिटवीन two persons which are having much difference in status, then definitely it will going to be in favor of the person with having a high status. Okay? Physical barriers that you are, noise जो हमने बात की थी. Noise is not only शोर. Noise, when we are talking about physical noise, ये शोर होता है जो आप लोग करते हो या नेचुरल होता है या कोई इंसिडेंट हो रहा है, तो दैट इज फिजिकल नॉइज, वो शोर होता है. साइकोलॉजिकल नॉइज भी होता है. मेरे घर में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है ना, कोई इमोशनल ट्रॉमा चल रहा है मेरे साथ, तो मैं पढ़ा जरूर आऊंगा लेकिन हो सकता है अपना कंप्लीट फुल कॉम्पिटेंस ना दे पाऊं. या किसी बच्चे कोई प्रॉब्लम है, यू आर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर ट्रॉमा एंड यू आर देन कम्युनिकेशन विल नॉट बी कंप्लीट. Definitely your understanding will not be as effective as of others, because there is a psychological noise at your level. You are disturbed somewhere. Written noise, ये क्या होता है? Written noise, bad handwriting or cutting, overwriting. Good handwriting is the biggest boon, and especially for students. If you are having a good handwriting, you will always excel in your field. Your chances of excelling are more than your friends. So always try to be very good in your handwriting. At least it should be clear. ऐसा नहीं उसमें तारे वारे नहीं लगाने, but it should be clear. Everyone can read. ऐसा नहीं खुद लिखे खुदा पढ़े उसको. No. So you have to. It should be at least so clear that you can read it and others can also read it. Okay. Then visual noise. Visual noise क्या होता है? I am delivering a lecture over here. people are coming from here and there over there. Two people are sleeping over there. That is a visual noise. You know, whenever someone is speaking, so the worst thing that you can do with him or her is just go on to desk and sleep. जो डिलीवर कर रहा होगा लेक्चर, उसका जो कॉन्फिडेंस है, आप एटलीस्ट 20 to 25% तो आप उसको खत्म कर देंगे. इसका मतलब what he will get, oh my God, I am speaking so boringly that everyone is going to sleep. That is there, huh? So these are the kind of noise that are big barriers in communication. ये हमारे communication को मार करते हैं, distort करते हैं. Time and distance भी होता है, ठीक है ना? Suppose that if you have to come, you are very good in English, you have to talk to a person in America, everything is quite okay, and आपने सुबह सुबह उठ के 11 बजे उसको फोन लगाया, a person who is staying in US, what will be the timings in America? सो रहा होगा वो. So improper timings, wrong selection of medium, ठीक है ना? हमें हमारा दोस्त दिखता है वहां जाते हुए तो हम आवाज लगाते हैं, आ जाओ, ठीक है ना? लेकिन अगर आपका दोस्त नौगांव में है तो आप कितनी भी आवाज लगाते रहो, छत पे खड़े होकर चिल्लाओ, आ जाएगा वो, बिकॉज आपने मीडियम गलत चुना है. यू हैव टू यूज अ फोन और सम अदर मैसेज, ठीक है ना? सो सिलेक्शन ऑफ मीडियम, दैट इज अ बैरियर. And defects in communication system, that is always there. These all are also physical barriers. Channel, climate, extreme temperature होगा, ठीक है ना? तो ये सब भी physical barriers हैं. Comfort and distractions. अभी इस कमरे में बहुत गर्मी हो रही होती, इस कमरे में बहुत गर्मी हो रही होती, और if you are not comfortable, तो आप उतने अच्छे से हमारी बात नहीं सुन पाते, ठीक है ना? तो डिस्कंफर्ट होगा, क्लाइमेट प्रॉब्लम्स होगी, एक्सटर्नल प्रॉब्लम्स होगी, दो जनरेटर इधर चल रहे हो, ठीक है ना? सो ऑल दीज आर फिजिकल बैरियर्स दैट यू मे कम अक्रॉस. आपने देखा होगा ना, जो दो फ्रेंड्स बड़े धीमे धीमे बात करते हैं, इफ दे आर विजिटिंग अ फेयर, मेले में जाके चिल्लाने लगते हैं, क्योंकि उनको पता है इफ वी आर अडॉप्टिंग द सेम टोन, माय मैसेज इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी कन्वेड, है ना? सो दैट इज देयर. So let me summarize it. Remember, communication is a two-way process. ठीक है ना? हमने बोला था ना, ओरेटरी की बात की थी, वो वन वे प्रोसेस है. अगर मुझे एक भाषण देना है, वो वन वे प्रोसेस है. अपना भाषण अच्छे से तैयार करूंगा मैं, बड़ा सुंदर सा लिख के, अच्छे अच्छे कठिन कठिन शब्द डाल के, आई विल डिलीवर एंड आई विल गो, नो वरीज. बट इफ यू आर इंटेंडिंग फॉर कम्युनिकेशन, इट इज अ टू-वे प्रोसेस. Whatever I am communicating, whatever I am conveying, it should be exactly understood. Only then communication is complete and successful. Getting it? Effective communication is bridging the gap between encoded and decoded message, meaning establishing common understanding. Until and unless we two are having a common understanding, we cannot communicate. So that is communication. Responsibility of effective communication mainly lies with the communicator. और ये जवाबदारी बोलने वाले की है, सेंडर की है, कि हम अपना जो मैसेज है वो इफेक्टिवली कन्वे कर पाए. गेटिंग इट? फीडबैक इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट. कम्युनिकेशन को तभी कंप्लीट मानते हैं हम व्हेन इट इज वी रिसीव अ फीडबैक, ठीक है ना? हमने आपको बोला कम हियर, आप आ गए, कंप्लीट. कम्युनिकेशन कंप्लीट भी हुआ, सक्सेसफुल भी हुआ. हमने कहा कम हियर, आपने कहा नहीं आऊंगा. कम्युनिकेशन अनसक्सेसफुल, माने रिजल्ट तक अनसक्सेसफुल है, कम्युनिकेशन कंप्लीट है. गेटिंग द पॉइंट? सो दिस इज देयर. फीडबैक इज इंपॉर्टेंट. रिटर्न मैसेज, ये हो सकता है विदाउट वर्ड्स भी हो, ठीक है ना? सो बट इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू मार्क द कंप्लीशन ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Know the roadblocks. This will help you to handle the communication process in an effective way, and it is a skill. Communication को हम skill बोलते हैं. It's not knowledge. कल सारस्वत सर was talking ना, कि you cannot command communication overnight. आपका कोई टेस्ट है, 2 यूनिट का टेस्ट है, कल आपको पता लगा आप अभी बैठ जाओगे, आप हो सकता है सुबह तक कर लो, but if you are not good at speaking a particular language, you cannot command it overnight because it is a skill. It takes time. It comes with your muscle memory. ठीक है ना? It comes, it exists, it assimilates with your body, it assimilates with your brain. Only then it becomes a skill. Right? ना? You all of you play a cricket match, na? So whenever a pace bowler is, have you ever seen it in the stadium? दिखती नहीं है बॉल, but you remember, think a person who is facing a ball of 145 or 150 kilometers per hour and he's hitting it, what kind of skill he is having. He has developed his reflexes up to that particular level that he deserves, he displays such kind of skills. Same is the thing with communication. It is also a skill. So until you practice it, you cannot attain a skill. Knowledge is different from skill. A person who is a very good driver, he runs a bus daily from Chhatarpur to Delhi perfectly, always on time, maintains good speed. आप उस ड्राइवर को पकड़ के लाओ, एक कागज दिया, पेन दिया, बोला हाँ बस ड्राइविंग का सचित्र वर्णन करो, इसके सिद्धांतों का वर्णन करो, डिस्क्राइब द थियरी ऑफ बस ड्राइविंग, ही विल नॉट बी एबल टू राइट इवन अ सिंगल वर्ड. और एक आदमी है जिसको आप ड्राइविंग पे पूरी किताब सिखा दो और उसको स्टीयरिंग पकड़ा दोगे आप, ही विल नॉट बी एबल टू ड्राइव इवन फॉर few meters. So that is the difference between knowledge and skill. So if you are having any questions or any queries, to become an effective communicator, make effective use of heart, body, mind and soul. Then when all these four things they collectively work, then you attain a skill. A skill is quite different from knowledge, that as you have already known. It will take time. You cannot gain a skill overnight or in few moments. It will take time because it needs practice. You need to assimilate it with your body and your senses. Only then it becomes a skill. इनको 5 मिनट का ब्रेक देना है क्या इसके बाद, या कंटिन्यू करना है? कंटिन्यू करें, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है. तो अब मैं थोड़ा सा जल्दी खत्म करता हूँ उसको, है ना? ओके. आलोक कहाँ था वो? अच्छा यहाँ. लेक्चर 2. बोर हो गए लोग? हाँ, गेटिंग बोर्ड इन द लेक्चर? 1 घंटे में बोर हो गए? चलो बोरियत दूर करते हैं. अगेन वी विल स्टार्ट विद द स्टोरी. ये स्टोरी सबने सुनी होगी. किसकी स्टोरी है? द हेयर एंड द टॉर्टिस. टॉर्टोइज मत पढ़ा करो इसको, दैट इज टॉर्टिस. टॉर्टिस, टॉर्टोइज नहीं है. मोस्ट ऑफ अस वी रीड इट लाइक टॉर्टोइज, है ना? दैट इज टॉर्टिस. द टॉर्टोइज एंड द हेयर. ये सब स्टोरी पढ़ी है, हम इसको दोबारा पढ़ते हैं, ठीक है ना? All of us have heard this story. When there was a hare, there was a tortoise. They have a bet, they have a competition, and what happened? They had a race, and during the race, the hare slept, and who won the race? The tortoise won the race. यहां तक की स्टोरी हम सबने सुनी है, ठीक है ना? सुनी है ना? ये हमें इसके बाद की स्टोरी सुना रहा हूं. जो स्टोरी मैं सुना रहा हूं, दैट इज आफ्टर दैट. ओके. द हेयर वोक अप एंड रियलाइज दैट ही हैज लॉस्ट द रेस. अब हेयर का रिपेंटेंस चालू हुआ. द हेयर बिकम सो सैड. ओ माय गॉड, व्हाट हैव आई डन? आई हैव ह्यूमिलेटेड माय होल रेस. I, the rabbit, the champion, who are known for their agility and speed, they have lost a race with a tortoise. My God, it is a blame. I should commit a suicide, है ना? He didn't think like this. No, the hare was very disappointed and he was completely torn off. He was much humiliated, he was disappointed, and he was thinking, why did I lose the race? And after a lot of brooding and introspection, he found the reason that I have taken the race with a lot of complacence. मैंने बड़ी लापरवाही की. अगर मैं सोता नहीं तो शायद. So he again approached to the tortoise. Can we have another race? एक बार और दौड़ हो जाए. Tortoise मान गया. He was now with overconfident. He was enjoying the glory of being the winner. And this time the hare went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. He won by several miles. When the tortoise started, the hare was on the final mark. This was another race. Now the hare was happy and the tortoise was sad. Tortoise सोच रहा था क्यों मैंने एक्सेप्ट कर ली ये रेस. अच्छा भला आई वॉज एंजॉइंग द क्रोनिंग ग्लोरी ऑफ डिफीटिंग अ हेयर इन अ रेस. मैंने अपनी बेवकूफी से ये स्टेटस खो दिया. He was also too disappointed. But the moral of the story, slow and steady wins the race. No doubt, slow and steady persons are good. But if you are fast and consistent, you will always beat the slow and steady. हम बचपन से पढ़ते हैं ना, slow and steady wins the race. No doubt. But if you why fast is not winning the race? Because fast is not consistent. हम सो जाते हैं पेड़ के नीचे. If we adapt consistency, then always at 100 out of 100 times, the fast person will defeat the slow person. Slow person wins because of steadiness, and fast person, a talented person, loses because of inconsistency. So if you remove inconsistency, then you will always be a winner. Now again, but the story doesn't end here. Now the hare has won again the title, or now the tortoise was quite disappointed. अच्छा भला मेडल जीता था मैंने और खो दिया. So now he was brooding. What should I do to regain my status? What should I do to be a champion again? He made a strategy. ठीक है ना? He approached the hare again. Can we have a race? Hare thought again? No problem. Hare gave the answer even without a second. Within a second. Okay, we will have a race again. But this time, the tortoise has a plan. He was having a plan. He thought that this time we will go through a different route. और route क्या था? There was a river in the way. So till the river, the hare completed the distance within few moments. But on the bank of the river, the hare was sitting because a hare can't swim. Tortoise came slowly, dipped in the river, and crossed the race. It took a lot of time, but he again won the race. What does this story stand? Identify your core competency. This, in our society, we always think that being a hare is always good. We always think if you are a hare, if your parents or if your people around you call you a hare, it means that they are putting you in good esteem. And if they are saying you are tortoise, and they are putting you in a bad esteem. So in our society, it is quite this, that being a hare is always good. But it is not so. The case is not so. Even a hare can be a defeater. He can be defeated. He can lose even to a tortoise. Identify your core competency. What was the plan that the tortoise used? It was the core competency. Core competency is a much common word that is used nowadays. जिसको मैनेजमेंट में इसके लिए वर्ड यूज करते हैं यूएसपी, यूनिक सेलिंग प्रोपोजिशन. मतलब आप में क्या ऐसा है हर आदमी एक दूसरे से डिफरेंट है, एवरीवन इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम, so definitely you are having one specific and unique skill. The need is that you identify it. The tortoise couldn't have won even at any race with the hare, but he deployed his competency. He chose the route through a river where the hare lost the race. And after all this, they adopted a different approach. Even after that, they adopted a different approach. नदी तक के रास्ते में खरगोश ने कछुए को पीठ पे उठाया, नदी में कछुए ने खरगोश को पीठ पे उठाया, and they completed the race wonderfully. And this time, कछुए ने 6 घंटे लगाए थे अगर रेस में, तो this time the race was completed within 10 minutes. So why I am telling this story to you? Our second topic of the session was communication as a soft skill. Have you heard about soft skill? Word सुना है soft skill term? सुना है? बताओ बताओ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं? Anyone? Soft skill word सुना है कि नहीं सुना है? Soft skill word नहीं सुना है, ठीक है ना? आजकल there is a for last 10-15 years there have been much focus on soft skills. Soft skills क्या होते हैं? We all have heard about skills and knowledge. हम जानते हैं skill क्या होता है, knowledge क्या होता है. We don't think we don't have any idea about soft skills. See, ऐसा नहीं है कोई बहुत नई concept है. You can have a book on this. देखो ये. So for last 10-15 years we have much focus on soft skills. Soft skills क्या है? That's why I have told you this particular story. And communication is also a soft skill. Soft skill से मतलब again this. If we as a one entity we study the all episodes of the story in one entity, at least we will find these points. Never give up when faced with failure. अगर हम हारते हैं तो we have not to give up. Fast and consistent will always beat slow and steady. Work to your competencies. That is a very important term nowadays which is used, and you will definitely confront this word during your job interviews, because there will be a question, okay, can you tell me about your one competency? Competency का मतलब है आप में क्या खास है. खरगोश और कछुए में क्या खास था? Yes, swimming. It could survive in water. So competency is that is the skill that you should have identified in yourself. Compete against the situation, not against a rival. ये हम गलती करते हैं, ठीक है ना? Suppose that if I have got second position in my class, हम कंपटीशन किससे करते हैं? जो इसने टॉप किया है. हम सोचते हैं कि मुझे इसको हराना है ना? नहीं, आपको उसको हराना नहीं है. वी आर टेकिंग इट अनदर वे. हराने के लिए तो उसको पकड़ लो, उसको किडनैप करा लो एग्जाम के दिन, हार जाएगा वो, है ना? So you can defeat him. So that is not the case. So you have to face the situation, not the person. Pooling resources and working as a team will always beat individual performers. That's why all these points that are there all have one soft skill in it. All these pointers, they have one soft skill involved in every thread. So skills, soft skills समझ सकते हो आप? Skills at micro level, they are soft skills. Skills, abilities and traits that pertain to personality, attitude and behavior are soft skills. Formal or technical knowledge is not soft skill. If you are BTech, you are MA, you are BA, BSc, whatever you are, that is not a soft skill. What you possess within you, ठीक है ना. संस्कृत में एक श्लोक है, मुझे पूरा याद नहीं है, लेकिन लास्ट लाइन उसकी ये है, पुस्तके गृहते विद्या परहस्तम गतम धनम. मतलब किताबों में रखा हुआ ज्ञान और दूसरे के पास रखा हुआ धन कभी अपने काम नहीं आता है, ठीक है ना. सो वॉट एवर इट इन योर बुक्स, इन योर मार्कशीट्स, इन योर रिकॉर्ड्स, दैट्स नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट. Whatever is important, whatever here in your brain or whatever skills you are having, ठीक है ना, that is important. So soft skills are, and communication is the most important soft skill which we are talking about. Everyone, at least to be a good professional, or after you will definitely in the job market after that. So skill set that is required at least from every employer, every recruiter, that is oral and written communication skill, critical thinking ability, problem solving resourcefulness, and ability to proactively on a team. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. We are individual performers, ठीक है ना. विराट कोहली is a very good performer, but can he alone win a game? No. That's why nowadays we have find whenever there will be a selection process for young professionals, they conduct a GD, group discussion. And what do we observe in a group discussion? Not your linguistic abilities or your domain knowledge, how you perform in a team, ठीक है ना. How you perform, दूसरे को बोलने नहीं देते हो, ठीक है ना. You should be a good listener also. So all these traits they are observed. So that is those soft skills, because nowadays competition is quite, आज से 50 साल पहले कंपटीशन का लेवल अलग था, आज कंपटीशन बहुत हार्ड है, ठीक है ना. एक जमाना हुआ करता था, माय फादर यूज्ड टू टेल मी कि इफ यू आर एमए इन इंग्लिश यू कैन गेट अ जॉब ऑन द नेक्स्ट डे. अराउंड 30-40 इयर्स बैक की बात कर रहा हूं मैं. बताते थे कि एमए इंग्लिश का ये होता था, इफ यू आर एमए इन इंग्लिश यू विल गेट द जॉब राइट on the same day. And now things are different. So now you need to focus on all this, and that's why our university has conducted this particular training program on communication skills. You have to be good in oral and written communication. Communication is not only speaking, it also involves written ability, written skills. And all these skills, they are very important because it is to handle interpersonal relations, appropriate decisions, and to communicate effectively. And all of you know, purpose of communication क्या होता है? Communication का purpose हमारे मैसेज को सामने वाले तक पहुंचाना, जो हम बोल रहे हैं. अगर मैं आऊं यहाँ पे कुछ भी बोल के चला गया, blah blah blah, highly in a different language, that is not going to affect or influence any person who is sitting in this room. That is there. So communication effectively, to have good impression and impact, to gain professional development, all these are there. And for all those skills, communication skill form the cornerstone of soft skill. No one can be said that he is very good in soft skills if he or she doesn't have good communication. To be said or to be branded as skilled, it is essential that you earn good, you learn and you earn good communications. It forms the cornerstone of every soft skill. Whether there is a term as the soft skill used, whether we are talking at the level of our skill sets or core competencies, communication will be the first one. Everyone is going to talk on communication, ठीक है ना. ये रहेगा आजकल के. अब जब जॉब इंटरव्यूज में जाओगे, बेसिकली देयर विल बी मैनी क्वेश्चंस ऑन कम्युनिकेशन, एटीट्यूड, interpersonal relations, all there will be a lot of questions. So you have not only answer them in a good communicative way, at the same time you need to have the domain knowledge of the things, ठीक है ना. आपको you have read Aristotle fully, but if you cannot answer it, what is the purpose? तो आपको कम्युनिकेशन भी आपका होना चाहिए, ठीक है ना. एक्सेंट रिडक्शन, फ्लुएंसी, language, articulation, and a lot of things. Thank you. Thank you. Just 1 minute. Okay. So all those soft skills, wherever we are talking, communication holds the number of primary importance. Any kind of skills you are talking about, communication will always be at first place. And for making your communication effective, you need to understand, you need to acquire linguistic abilities. You need to work on your vocabulary. You need to work on pronunciation. We have a habit of speaking words used in Hindi and English with the same pronunciation, but it is not so. It is not a case. Whenever we are talking in English, we say New Delhi. बोलते हैं ना New Delhi. And whenever we are talking in Hindi, Delhi बोलते हैं. ठीक है ना? It's quite, but we are not having. For other words, we use the same tone. Kangaroo is kangaroo. But kangaroo is, we pronunciate it like kangaroo in Hindi, but in English we use it kangaroo. ठीक है ना? Lion, lion LION क्या होता है? Loin होता है. Loin होता बोलते हैं. No, it's not loin. Lion. It's lion. Loin is LOIN. So your pronunciation, lizard, बोलते हैं lizard. खास तौर पे एक वर्ड यूज करते हैं हम लोग, दैट इज, हम कोशिश करते हैं कि हमारे प्रोनाउंसिएशन से वो इमेज सामने बन जाए. बफेलो मतलब बफेलो दिख जाए. हम कोशिश करते हैं कि हम बफेलो इस तरीके से बोलेंगे कि बफेलो दिख जाए. हम उसको बफलो बोल के उस पर का इंपैक्ट ही खत्म करना नहीं चाहते. द राइट प्रोनाउंसिएशन इट इज बफलो. ठीक है ना? लेकिन हमको लगता है, बीइंग ऑफ बुंदेली एक्सेंट, है ना, हमको लगता है कि अगर हमने बफलो बोला, बफलो बकरी टाइप दिखेगी, है ना. सो वी नीड टू प्रेजेंट इट लाइक बफेलो. ठीक है ना? बफेलो. So that is there. So you need to work on all these things. And I told you, be an observer. Observer. अब सब लोग, all of you are using mobile phones. Using. If you are going in your touch settings, you will find there an option of haptics. Do you find it? Have anybody seen haptics? देखा है? नहीं, आपने देखा होगा. Haptics. Go and check it. What is haptics? Haptics is very important in communication. ठीक है ना? और जो सर बोले थे, डिक्शनरी का एक ऑप्शन मैं आपको देता हूं. You go, all of you are having mobile phones now. So in your mobile phones, go to the Play Store and get Merriam-Webster dictionary. It is free. Wonderful dictionary. Merriam-Webster dictionary. I can show you the icon. This is there. This is, you can download it. It's free. ठीक है ना? It is having a different kind of pronunciations, US, UK, and wonderful. Merriam-Webster is known as the biggest dictionary of English. So at least you can find it in free. So you can, whenever there is a word, at least go in this and learn the pronunciation of that particular word. ठीक है ना? Even because not only pronunciation, things are changing. Whatever we learned at the school, things are even, whenever we were at school, हम लोग बैगन को, हमको सिखाया गया था ब्रिंजल इज बैगन. हमको हमारी किताब में था बैगन ब्रिंजल. भिंडी होती थी लेडीज फिंगर. अभी नहीं, अभी आप, if you are seeing the latest books, you will not find lady finger for भिंडी, you will find okra. You will not find brinjal for बैगन, you will find eggplant. ठीक है ना? So that things are turning to, हमको क्या बताया गया था कि पंप जो होता है, लौकी होती है, वो कद्दू होती है. ये था, it was in books. मैं कोई जो रिकॉर्डेड चीज बता रहा हूं। पंपकिन हमको बताया गया था, पंपकिन जो होती है वो लौकी भी होती है और कद्दू होती है। बट नाउअडेज द kids coming just after you who may be sometimes may be having, they are in your competition too, know that pumpkin is kuddu and a bottle god is lucky. So that is different things. So now even things are changing, society is changing, domain level is changing. You have to work hard. No doubt, undoubtedly, every is smarter than the previous one, no doubt. But you are also having a generation that would be smarter than you and may also be in competition with you. So that is there. So you need to earn all these things. You need to learn these things. ठीक है ना? गलत बोलना से अच्छा है कि ना बोलो। इतना गलत बोलने से अच्छा है, मैं एक्सेंट की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, आप कभी अमेरिकन एक्सेंट या ब्रिटिश एक्सेंट मत करिए। इवन नॉट ट्राई टू फॉलो दिस, यू ओनली ट्राई टू प्रोनाउंशिएट इट इन अ वे। बट एक्चुअली जब बोलते हैं ना लोग बाग पालक को स्पाइनेक, स्पाइनेच, पता नहीं क्या क्या बोलते हैं, एटलीस्ट लर्न द करेक्ट प्रोनाउंसिएशन ऑफ दिस। अभी गर्मी आ रही है ना, सुनाई देगा लिजर्ड, लिजर्ड, देयर आर लिजर्ड, लिजर्ड, है ना? लिजर्ड ऐसा तो बहुत बड़ा क्रोकोडाइल हो, है ना? तो वी नीड टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेट इट थ्रू आवर pronunciation. Pronunciation is very important, I am telling you. It is very important. Even we don't pronunciate a lot. We are all following brands. There is a famous brand, AUDI, car brand, AUDI, Audi, Audi. There is a brand BMW होता है. That's not BMW, that is BMW. So at least learn pronunciation. There is a brand TISSOT. I have a watch of that particular brand. TISSOT brand सुना है ना? टी शर्ट पढ़ते हैं, that is टीसो, लुई वितो, है ना? So at least observe everything, everything. टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूट्स में बच्चों को एक्सरसाइज कराई जाती है. We give them any object that is in their sight, and you have to write a specification of that particular thing. हम कोई भी चीज दे देते हैं कि पंखा, फैन, फैन के स्पेसिफिकेशंस लिखिए आप. So in the same way you observe everything, everything you observe here and there, at least learn to pronunciate it correctly. वान हुसैन, वान हुसैन बहुत सुना है हमने, है ना? एक ब्रांड है ना, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, वैन हुसैन, वान ह्यूजन. जो हमें कंफर्टेबल लगता है वो, हमें HUSEN से हुसैन पास का लगता है ना, तो हुसैन, है ना? तो एटलीस्ट ट्राई टू प्रोनाउंशिएट इट करेक्टली. ओके ना? जो भी चीज दिखती है आसपास उसका प्रोनाउंसिएशन तो सीखो. लिजर्ड बोलोगे अच्छा लगेगा. गेटिंग इट? ओके. सो वी वर टॉकिंग दिस आर पार्ट ऑफ दिस स्किल्स, है ना? सॉफ्ट स्किल्स जो हम बात कर रहे थे, दे आर बिल्ट ऑन योर एटीट्यूड, दे आर पॉलिश्ड बाय योर कम्युनिकेशन, and they are manifested as etiquettes. अब एटीट्यूड क्या होता है? What is attitude? See, how much do you see of an iceberg? Iceberg जानते हो? समुद्र में बर्फ के बड़े बड़े पहाड़ तैरते हैं, जिससे टाइटैनिक टकरा के डूब गया था. Just few minutes. Yeah, see here. कितना हिस्सा दिखता है इसका आपको? Do you know? Only 10%. 10%. Same is the case with us. Whatever is visible to others. लोग हमारा जो हिस्सा जानते हैं, जो हमारी नॉलेज और स्किल्स जो जानते हैं, वो हमारे जो हमारा रॉ स्टफ है, हमारा फंडामेंटल है, हमारी पर्सनैलिटी का, वो हमारे एटीट्यूड से बनता है. But people don't know that. You have seen few students, they got angry very easily. There may be a personality in your circle who's always unhappy. एक कोई ऐसी पर्सनालिटी नहीं होगी आपके आसपास जो हमेशा हंसी में हंसता रहेगा. So that all we only know, people only know us through our knowledge and skills, but actually that personality is built on something, that is our attitude. That is the building block of our personality. It may have impact on all this, and all that our attitude is made of our values, standards, judgments, motives, ethics, beliefs. ठीक है ना? So हमारा जो बिहेवियर होता है, all our behavior is having impact on our values. ठीक है ना? हमारे जैसे अब तो क्या है, आजकल का तो जनरेशन डिफरेंट हो गई है. अदरवाइज मैंने तो फील होता है जब कोई बच्चा अपने पापा से पानी मांगता है, पापा एक गिलास पानी ला देना, तो मुझे बड़ा अजीब लगता है. हमारी तो इतनी हिम्मत नहीं थी कि हम पापा से ये ही बोल दें कि पापा फैन का बटन ऑन कर दो. सो दैट इज द वैल्यू दैट वी आर हैविंग. तो वो हर कल्चर में अलग वैल्यू है. सो आवर बिहेवियर दैट इज मेड थ्रू ऑल दीज, and communication plays a very important role in all this behavior forming of the behavior that is displayed to others. हम आपको कितने जानते हैं? जितना आप हमारे सामने आते हो, जितना बोलते हो, या आप जिस तरीके से बिहेव करते हो, that is what we know you. Getting the point? So all this is made all this. So communication is not only about speaking or understanding. It is a comprehensive thing. It relies on your attitude, it relies on your behavior, it relies on your beliefs, values, theories that you follow, the kind of skills that you are having. All this is displayed through your communication. So it is really, if you want to be good enough so that you survive in today's competition, you are required to. You are not expected to. You must have to follow good communication skills. You have to develop good communication skills. Otherwise, you will be out of competition. Your competition is with the students of metros who may be weak in domain knowledge, but they are very good in communication. So at least you need to practice it. You should be good enough that you communicate effectively, and it is a comprehensive experience. Communication is a great experience that is involved everywhere. Atra tatra sarvatra. Getting it? So by this slide I finish my this presentation. Thank you. Have a happy learning. Thank you. If you are having any questions are always welcome. Try to learn words always. एक एक्सरसाइज बता देता हूं जो हम लोग फॉलो करते हैं. डेली 2 पेज पढ़ा करो. समझने की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं मैं. डेली 2 पेज पढ़ना है, लेकिन रोज अलग पेज पढ़ा करो. अदरवाइज वो सुंदरकांड की तरह याद हो जाएगा, है ना? इट हैपन्स रियली. इफ यू आर रीडिंग समथिंग डेली, यू विल नॉट अंडरस्टैंड इट, बट यू विल क्रैम इट. शिकारी आएगा, जाल फैलाएगा, जाल में फंसना नहीं. You will learn it, you will cram it, but you will not be able to understand. Daily read 2 pages and see the difference on 21st day. Sirf not try to understand any meaning, just try to read 2 pages of English daily and see the difference on 21st day. ये हमारा मसल मेमोरी होती है. किसी शहर में पहली बार आते हो, आपको सारे चौराहे चौक चौराहे अजीब लगते हैं, वहां के अजनबी लगते हैं. आपको घर आना होता है, आपको सोचना पड़ता है, अरे इस वाली बिल्डिंग से टर्न हुआ था. 15 दिन बाद अंधेरा हो, आपकी गाड़ी अपने आप वहां पहुंच जाती है. दैट इज मसल मेमोरी. दैट इज द मेमोरी दैट इज इनहेरेंट इन अवर पर्सनैलिटी. सो इफ यू आर रीडिंग 2 pages daily of English, at least what will develop, you will be much accustomed and acquainted with English. And it will start happening that you understand the words automatically. ठीक है ना? In technical science, what we do, we try make students learn the parts of the words. जैसे ट्रिग्नोमेट्री एक वर्ड होता है. 10th तक ट्रिग्नोमेट्री वर्ड ना तो इंडियन स्टूडेंट को पता होता है, ना इंग्लिश स्टूडेंट को पता होता है, क्योंकि ट्रिग्नोमेट्री वर्ड इंग्लिश का है ही नहीं, ठीक है ना। तो हम क्या बताते हैं उसको, डोंट अंडरस्टैंड ट्रिग्नोमेट्री। ट्रिग्नोमेट्री इज मेड फ्रॉम 3 वर्ड्स, ट्राई, गोन, मीटर। लैटिन में गोन का मतलब होता है एंगल, मीटर का मतलब होता है नापने वाली चीज, है ना। ट्राई मतलब होता है 3, लैटिन की वो ग्रीक की वो है ना, आपको केमिस्ट्री में पढ़ी होगी आपने, मोनो, बाई, ट्राई, टेट्रा, पेंटा, वहां की गिनती है ना वहां की, दैट इज काउंटिंग। तो अगर बच्चे ने सीख लिया कि ट्रिग्नोमेट्री का मतलब होता है 3 कोणों का, ट्रिग्नोमेट्री में यही करते हैं ना, ट्राइंगल के कोणों की स्टडी करते हैं। अब अगला वर्ड आया उसके पास, गोनियोमीटर। एक वर्ड होता है गोनियोमीटर। तो गोनियोमीटर से बच्चा इतना दिमाग लगा लेता है, गोन का मतलब होता है एंगल, मीटर का मतलब होता है नापने का, तो कम से कम एंगल नापने वाली कोई चीज होगी। गोनियोमीटर वही होता है जो प्रोट्रैक्टर आप यूज करते हो, चांदा, दैट इज टेक्निकली अ गोनियोमीटर, ठीक है ना। सो ट्राई टू लर्न द पार्ट्स ऑफ द वर्ड्स, क्योंकि इंग्लिश में क्या है, इंग्लिश के पास द वोकैबुलरी है दैट इज लिमिटेड, वेरी लिमिटेड। इंग्लिश इज वेरी रिसेप्टिव लैंग्वेज, किसी भी भाषा का आए हम ले लेते हैं। हिंदी के थोड़ा सा पराभव का कारण क्या है, हम रिसेप्टिव नहीं है, हम भेदभाव मानते हैं, नहीं दूसरी भाषा का शब्द हम नहीं लेंगे। हमारे यहां तो अगर वो कोई वर्ड चाहिए हमको ट्रेन के लिए, तो हम हिंदी से बनाएंगे लोहपथगामिनी, है ना, लाइक दिस। और फॉर चश्मा वी डोंट हैव अ वर्ड, चश्मा इज फारसी वर्ड। वी डोंट हैव अ वर्ड फॉर स्पेक्टिकल, तो हम स्पेक्टिकल्स नहीं बोलेंगे, हम बोलेंगे नेत्र दोष निवारक पारदर्शक यंत्र। वी में यूज द लेंथी वर्ड, लेकिन इंग्लिश में ऐसा नहीं है, दे आर वेरी रिसेप्टिव। कोई भी वर्ड हो, इवन hundreds of Hindi words are there. Go for a word loot, L-O-O-T, loot. Loot is an English word now. Jungle is an English word now. हाँ हाँ, रोटी, चप्पल, तो हाँ, तो all these words are there, क्योंकि वो रिसेप्टिव है। तो इंग्लिश के साथ क्या है, अगर आपको वर्ड्स के पार्ट्स समझना आ गए, कॉम्प्लेक्स वर्ड्स के, तो आपको काफी कंफर्ट रहेगा। और हर चीज को ऑब्जर्व करो, ऑब्जर्व एवरीथिंग। यूनिवर्सिटी, कई बच्चे होते हैं, दे आर डेली कमिंग टू यूनिवर्सिटी एंड मिस स्पेलिंग यूनिवर्सिटी। एटलीस्ट ऑब्जर्व यूनिवर्सिटी, द स्पेलिंग ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटी इज दिस, है ना। सो एटलीस्ट ट्राई टू लर्न इट, प्रोनाउंशिएट इट। So no questions? Yes, ma'am. Hmm. So, I think Divya ma'am is concerned about that sometimes people may be ostentatious. They may be conspicuous, whether they are communicating in a different way, however, their reality is quite different. So, I think if it is possible, there is nothing wrong in it. If you can improve, but don't overlap it with originality. Okay? Most of us are using Chat GPT for making projects. But just take help of it, don't make it the ultimate end, है ना। So at least the basic skills you will always require. At least if you are good in skills, then you may use all these tools just to elaborate it, embellish it. Your communication may be embellished, more embellished, but it is their right use of this is discretious, definitely true. Any more questions? So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
For this full lecture. Right now, I try to give you.
Thank you. Thank you.
अभी आप लोगों ने you had a very nice lecture में कहीं पे भी कहे he has shared his own experience and there are several things you can consider that take out of the lecture. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं you have already listened carefully. तो आपको इस ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम में लगभग ये लग रहा होगा कि लेक्चर्स आर हैपनिंग एंड वी आर these are the ideas those have come out from a great organization. They can help you in improving your communication. And communication doesn't limit to language. आप हिंदी बोलते हैं तो हिंदी भी बोलने में क्या कर रहे हैं you are communicating. कम्युनिकेशन का ये जो ट्रेनिंग है it applies on all languages. आप जो भी लैंग्वेज बोलते हैं उस लैंग्वेज में आप इसका इस्तेमाल करते हैं यूज करते हैं you can improve your communication. Sometimes it happens. कल बात हो रही थी सारस्वत में भी इस बात को किया था कि there are two students. One is living in a metropolitan city and one is living just like in Suburban. Suburban का बच्चा he knows 7 things out of 10. And when we consider about the student who is living in Delhi, he knows only 5 things out of 10. But because he has got the opportunity, he has got the environment, so his communication is better than the student who is living in suburb. तो 5 में से 5 चीजें उसको अच्छे ढंग से बतानी आती है। 75 को का स्टूडेंट 7 चीजें जानता है, but मैं स्किल इन कम्युनिकेटिंग प्रॉपर्ली आपको 7 में से 2 ही बता पाऊंगा। आप बताइए आप किसको बेटर मानेंगे? जो 7 जानता है उसको मानेंगे, जो 5 जानता है उसको मानेंगे? और ये कैसे हुआ है? बिकॉज़ दिस कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स आर बेटर देन द स्टूडेंट हु इज लिविंग इन। तो ये जो आइडिया आपको बताए जा रहे हैं इसको आप अपने व्यवहार में सीखो। अभी सर एक चीज बताइए कि एक हैबिट आप शुरू कीजिएगा, read 2 pages for 21 days and you will see the change that will be there in your understanding. अभी आपके लेक्चर्स में ये भी बताया जाएगा कि आप फुल स्किल्स to understand understanding. तो आपकी जो टेंडेंसी अंडरस्टैंडिंग स्किल है वो आपकी ऑटोमेटिकली क्या हो जाएगी? इनरिच हो जाएगी। तो ये छोटी-छोटी कुछ एक्टिविटी है जिनको आप कर सकते हैं। बशर्ते ये है कि आपके मन में ये हो whatever is being said to you or suggested to you, आप उसको गंभीरता से लें और अपने टेंडेंसी छोटी-छोटी एक्टिविटी आप लोगों ने भी अपने जीवन में कैसी एक्टिविटीज को लागू किया? रीडिंग का कैसे कर सकते हैं, अंडरस्टैंडिंग का कैसे कर सकते हैं, स्पीकिंग का कैसे कर सकते हैं, ये छोटी छोटी एक्टिविटी आपको जो टीचर्स आते हैं दे आर शेयरिंग देयर ओन एक्सपीरियंस। मैंने एक बात जो बताई थी कि देयर इज अ पर्सन हु ड्राइव्स अ बस वेरी प्रॉपर्ली but he can't write the procedure of driving that particular bus properly. क्योंकि उससे क्या है? स्किल्स है, एरिया का बटन और समरी स्टेज ये जरूरी नहीं कि वो प्रैक्टिकल में भी इस्तेमाल करें। तो इसी उद्देश्य से आप लोगों को अभी 5 मिनट का एक गैप दिया जाता है। 5 मिनट में आप पानी पी लीजिएगा, थोड़ा फ्रेश पी लीजिएगा, लेकिन 5 मिनट मीन्स and after that 5 minutes there will be a practical activity जिसमें आपको बताया जाएगा कि आप बेटर कम्युनिकेट विद योर टेलीफोन में लिविंग बाय हैविंग टेलीफोनिक कन्वर्सेशन। सोशल मीडिया पर कैसे आप बेटर ढंग से कम्युनिकेशन कर सकते हैं उसका प्रैक्टिकल आपको करके बताया जाएगा, आप लोग भी उसमें इन्वॉल्व, तो सीजन 2 और 5 मिनट बाद लौट कर आ जाइएगा। अरे तो यार, बट बिफोर गेटिंग यू आउट, एक हम लोगों की गिनती बाकी है। इतना अच्छा लेक्चर आपको 2 लेक्चर दिए हैं, बहुत ही प्रैक्टिकल में आप लोगों को बताया है, तो सब लोग एक बार दूर से ताली बजा के for delivering such a wonderful lecture. Okay. We will all not say always, but he will be here with you. Okay.
Thank you. Oh. अच्छा था, ठीक था, थैंक यू।
एक दो क्वेश्चन है अभी नहीं किए हमने।
हाँ बताओ। हाँ
जैसे अभी ये आपने एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल दिया था कि एक छोटा सा बच्चा आज की डेट में एक अपने फादर से कह रहा है कि पानी दे दो, या अपनी यही हिम्मत नहीं थी, जैसे कि सेम मूवी का फैमिली का सिनेरियो भी ऐसे नहीं करता, लेकिन यू ऑलवेज हेard about the culture that we admire culture or we accept the culture by seeing or by listening. Then what happened with this generation that they are admiring that kind of behavior, that kind of gesture, culture. That they can be able to say about his father that please give me a glass of.
Actually, our aims have changed.
How?
We,
But how?
we basically, whenever culture goes in two ways: material culture and non-material culture. Culture consists of both parts. Sometimes material culture goes ahead, and non-material culture, that is real culture, that sometimes
Culture is a real culture.
yes, that we follow our beliefs, values. Material culture is our advancements. All this, that is our material culture. Sometimes material culture, always we have a theory of Ogburn on this lack of culture, theory of cultural lack. ऑगबर्न एक सोशियोलॉजिस्ट की थ्योरी भी है, कल्चरल लैक की थ्योरी है, सांस्कृतिक पिछड़ेपन का सिद्धांत। सो व्हेनेवर मटेरियल कल्चर डोमिनेट्स, so we try to have our role models who has supremacy or who has a great achievement in that particular field. तो हम नॉन मटेरियल कल्चर को अपना भूलते हैं, हम मटेरियल कल्चर को अपना ऑब्जेक्टिव मान लेते हैं। तो इंडिया में